Our people, what is going on? Welcome to the Sooner or Later Sports Show here on the Unfair Sports Channel. You got your boy here, Jay. You got Coop. We also got one more addition that decided to show up late. We got PG. What's going on, everybody? Thank y'all for pulling up to the channel. Please wipe your feet, like, subscribe. If you ever listen to the podcast version, rate, review, give us 5 stars. But thanks. Sorry for the delay. We know that Fasusi is not going until after 3 o'clock, so we want to get everything set up, make sure it's all on time and prepared. That way, when we get on, we'll be close to the time that Fasusi shows up. So, gentlemen, happy Wednesday afternoon. What's going on?
Hey, I'm just glad that PG could set his navigation app and get here about 3 seconds before we hit it up. So, PG, welcome, buddy.
What's going on? I had to take little baby Griffin to go meet Toby Rowland and get the books earlier in Norman. So we were racing to get back home.
First and foremost, congratulations, PG, on the baby. That's why, PG's been a little bit of MIA, dropping videos here and there, but he also doesn't sleep because of that little bundle of joy. So thank you so much for sharing her with us. We've got a good group, over 400 viewers right now. 473 is where we're looking at here and on the X-Bird.
Yeah, I hear we got a pretty big announcement today.
Rumor has it somebody is going to actually pretend like they're going to commit, and it looks like they're live.
Oh, is he finally live? Sweet.
Y'all ready? All right. Give me a second. I'm going to go ahead and get it going. We'll watch as a family.
He's still got 1:40 left on this.
Let me zoom in on him real quick for y'all.
Let me know if y'all can hear
it. On Hutton running the camera.
She don't want no puppy.
We'll go on mute and we can watch.
She want her.
We got a minute and some change to wait until we see this man.
Big dog. Ooh.
You want to mute the video for a second?
Kelvion. Don't say that. He's not going to giggle. Don't say that. Say his fault.
There we go.
How's that?
That's better. So Hayes Fawcett said this is his best graphic, one of his best graphics.
Yeah, so that's what he claims. I'm curious to see what it is. And that's interesting. He had 5 teams on his poster, but only 3 banners in front of him.
Yeah, there's only 3 that are seriously in this. He wasn't going to Oregon. He actually, funny story, Michael Fasusi actually really likes Oregon. He thinks it's a really beautiful place. Too far away, though.
Of course.
Too far away.
Oh, yeah, Eugene's a beautiful place, man. So, yeah, we're about 30 some seconds and some change left. We're waiting here, but that's interesting. He actually likes that location.
A lot of people really like Oregon, but if you're from the East Coast or you're in the Central, the travel that's what gets you. That's what kills Oregon.
That.
If they were like,
totally see that.
If Oregon had Phil Knight, basically if Oklahoma had Phil Knight money and was like the replacement Oregon, but in the Midwest, yeah, it'd be.
We've got we're about what's this? 13. We're about 3 seconds in. Timer's done. So we're just now waiting to see. Should I go ahead and turn the sound back on?
Yes, because he's on with J.D. Piquel.
Moments away. Our decision. Before we get to that, though, make sure to subscribe right here to the On-Screen Recruits channel.
Yeah, here.
College football recruiting. It doesn't stop. We got live videos like this one. We got intel. We got analysis. So make sure you are subscribed to this channel because this channel also does not stop. Now, who are we here for today? None other than 5-star offensive tackle Michael Fasusi, the number 12 player in America, number 3 offensive tackle in America. He is 6'4.5", right around 300 pounds. Is down to 3 schools on the table for Michael Fasusi. It's Texas A&M, it's Texas, and the Oklahoma Sooners. This guy is going to be a.
They gotta get that height right. He's 6'6".
Don't take my word for it. Go ahead and check out the paper. One common theme you'll see here from Fasusi. Our guy loves to finish blocks, not just get a hat on a hat. He drives them through the turf. Look at the athleticism here. We'll pull around. Sealed off for his teammate for a big game. And oh yeah, again, another pancake. And in this third clip here, you'll see a very common theme from Fasusi. Drives on contact, gets hands on, hat on a hat. And it's not just enough to make the block. No, he wants to finish it all the way through the turf. We love that instinct from your offensive lineman to be a force, like I said, at the next level. But we are moments away from Michael Fasusi announcing his commitment. Before we get to that, though, make sure you follow him on the social channels, y'all, both on Instagram and on X. His career is just about to take off. I want to make sure to dial all the way in Michael Fasusi's career. All right? Throw it out in the Louisville text. Michael Fasusi is about to tell the world where he is going. Michael, last day for you, man. Describe the moment you're feeling.
I'm feeling great, man. Very excited.
Yeah.
This is a big day for you, not just because of your college, but also it was important for you to commit on this day. All the folks at home watching by the
Yeah, so today we're marking me and my family's 50th anniversary in America, moving from Nigeria.
Oh, wow.
The crowd fired up for the moment has arrived. The floor is yours. Tell the world where you're going to be playing your college football.
First of all, I want to thank everybody for being here, taking the time out of your day to come support me and my family. I want to thank God for everything He's done in my life. Without Him, me and my family wouldn't be here. I want to thank God for my family, of course. I want to thank my dad and my mom for the love they showed me throughout this whole process. They really instilled in me what true faith means and what true family means. I want to thank my brother. He couldn't be here today. He's playing soccer at Westcon. But I want to thank my sister, Rock to my left. I want to thank my coaches. I want to thank Coach Nathaniel Blackwell for everything he did in my life, especially coming to the development side of everything. I want to thank Coach Odu and the rest of my coaching staff for the guidance they gave me on and off the field, making me the man I am, not just a football player. I want to thank Mr. Baker and the rest of my teachers for showing me how important education really is in this process. And I want to thank Louisville for nothing but love, recently came from Nigeria. And lastly, I want to thank every single that's taken today for the love, for the hospitality, and most important, the opportunity to be me and my family here today. Without further ado, the reason why everyone says today.
Father!
For the next 3 to 4 years, I'll be taking my talents to the University of Oklahoma.
Yes, sir. Shout out to PG. Shout out to PG on this one. My man has been on it for 8-something months. He has been keeping tabs on this one. My boy, proud of you. PG, tell the people how you feel.
Oh, man, I'm just so glad this is finally off the chest. It's over. And, yeah, the graphic from Hayes Fawcett, it does not disappoint. This might be his best OU graphic he's made. I'm not going to say best graphic, but best OU graphic.
Okay, so that means that I need to go ahead and find it really quick. Let me go ahead. Let me go pull this up real quick and make the magic happen because I know everybody's losing their minds.
Texas fans
everybody's going to want
to be like, oh, we didn't need him.
Okay, you ready? Here's the graphic. That's the graphic. Gotta say, I'm kind of impressed. A little bit better than I expected. Shout out to Hayes. Gave the man a good one. Yeah, man, it's one of those that I got to give it like that to you, PG, man. You have been on this for months. You knew that we had this. We snatched this bad boy up from Texas, right? And Texas A&M, as you can see. But actually, he looked like he's talking a little bit more. Let's go ahead and go back to our guy Fasusi and hear what he got to say.
Michael, congratulations, man. I know that a lot of folks in Northern Oklahoma are fired up. You come, go into this with the family and some things with the spirit on.
Thank you.
All right. So they've wrapped it up.
Massive win for Brent. Venables and company again. Their first 5-star of the cycle. Their 4th offensive lineman of the cycle. Brent Venables stacking the trenches. Never a bad thing to stock the trenches as you move into the Southeastern Conference. To break down this commitment on 3's very own Steve Wiltfong joins us right now. Steve, Big win for the Sooners. What went into this? How did they ultimately
I'm not really
land?
concerned about what
Hutton.
Will Fong is talking about. So we're gonna move on over here back to Fasusi. Big time, big graphic. I see how y'all getting excited. Everybody's calm. Y'all relax. Told y'all knew it was gonna happen, right? Like we've been telling you people that this was gonna happen, right? Like PG's been talking about this for 8 months. I'm gonna keep talking about it. Coop, pass it on to you, man. How you feeling about this? What do you think about this pickup? How do you think that this helps Oklahoma moving forward?
I mean, this shows something great. Stubby puts it in there. The Oklahoma put a deal out where the university has raised $110 million. So you start a 3-year relationship process with Coach Bedenbaugh in the DFW for some of these elite guys that were coming up through the 25 cycle. So you get the relationship aspect. Bedenbaugh, he continues to put folks out there. If y'all didn't see, Walter Rouse and Tyler Guyton, two of the top, rated rookie offensive linemen in the NFL, plus all the earnings. We've got offensive linemen and quarterbacks just balling out. CD's about to get his new payday. So, obviously this university continues to put people in the NFL. And so you package the relationship, you package the just the mission with the soul mission, the NIL funding, and it all comes together. And so if there's any type of trolling today, don't pay attention to the trolling. This was a full-fledged effort by this entire team, the staff, this university, and Fasusi's going to get. I mean, this guy's a 3-year and let's go type of guy. He is going to walk on at any school and compete for playing time immediately in the NCAA. So, don't buy into that mess either. But this is just a great all-around win for, again, the day that, his family came over from Nigeria. Today's Bill Bedenbaugh's birthday. So, I mean, this is like the David Stone from last year.
Yeah, the crazy thing is, the coincidence. This is the date that his family came to the States. This is the date he came to the States, and it's Bill Bedenbaugh's birthday all at the same time, dog. Like, that's like the perfect coincidence and everything coming together, right? As he mentioned, himself, he loves Bill Bedenbaugh. He called him the GOAT on numerous occasions. He talked about how excited he was about, being around him. He talked about his visits, right? And it's funny because this entire time, everybody was concerned about, was Oklahoma going to be able to win this one? How much of this, hinged on NIL? Was relationships going to win out? Nah, we all knew that there was a lot bigger piece to this, right? Even Fasusi said himself that really NIL isn't that big for him. It was a lot more about relationships. And PG mentioned earlier, he loved Oregon. It was just the distance, right? And so for them, this is going to be a quick drive up 35 to Norman with his boy Sean, which is even better. So you get two guys, teammates, coming together. PG, man, like, I see there's a whole bunch of hurt feelings inside of the chat. Let them be in there. Let them be hurt. It's okay. What's next for the Sooners going forward?
Man, so I kind of went over this in my video, and I was like, at this point, I don't feel like I'm expecting Andrew Babalola to commit to Oklahoma, although Babalola is a right tackle, and Fasusi plays on the left side. It just feels like at this point, to try to land another 5-star offensive tackle, that's just dreaming. Now, I do wonder about the Lamont Rogers piece, solely because when we've talked to Sean, you've talked to Fasusi, there's a strong relationship there between the three. You have to wonder, if Fasusi and Sean really get in his ear and Oklahoma ups the ante a little bit more, could they flip him from Missouri? But at the same time, Texas and Texas A&M also just lost out on one of the top 10 players in their state. They haven't landed any of them yet. And so you would have to imagine they're probably one of those two schools is going to try to pony up an even bigger bag to try to get Lamont Rogers because they need a win. Both A&M
Yeah.
and Texas need a win on the offensive line. They both desperately need a tackle in this class, and they need one at an elite level. And Lamont Rogers, I think, is the only one that really fits, that is in their wheelhouse that they can go out there and land. So at this point, I'm just going to – that's the really only guy on the offensive line that I'm watching to see if Oklahoma could try to go out there and flip him. But, I mean, it seems like the class at this point is pretty well wrapped up outside of Christian Jones. I am watching to see who's that one or two guys that Oklahoma is going to try to go out there and flip that we're just not talking about, because they're going to try to do that with having their whole class pretty much committed by the start of the season.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. Most of this is going to be done at that point, and even talking about the class size-wise, right? We can actually, let me pull this back up so y'all can see it. Actually remove you. Yeah, I'll put you back in there. So right now, Oklahoma in 247. On 3. We're sitting at number 11. Rivals has us as the 5th class because they have a lot of our players rated more in the 4-star range in comparison to the other sites. And 247 has not updated yet. Oklahoma's still here at 11 with no 5 stars, even though we have a 5-star.
Up to 8. Up to 8 on 247.
Yeah.
So we'll move up to 8 at 247. So, but yeah, look at that. Rivals got you as 5th. Who'da thunk, right? That probably in the consensus-wise, we're top 10 again. So we'll finish with another top 10 class. I'm expecting ESPN's to be just as high. Like, what's the argument for Oklahoma and their recruiting and how they're doing it, right? Like, what can people say about how Oklahoma's doing?
Yeah, I mean, I think people are going to have concerns if Buchard and Mills take the visits to Florida. I know that's kind of been a conversation, but I wouldn't say that's an indictment on Oklahoma. Buchard and Mills are going to take visits with their teams.
Yeah.
And those visits are allowed. I think the question is, do they take official visits? I think that would be the difference, because you're not taking an official visit with your team. You're usually taking an official visit on your own. So
right.
If they go visit for like a day and a half for like a game week, right, and it's with 5 or 6 other teammates, that's a completely different story versus an official visit. But other than that, I mean, Oklahoma has done a really good job at securing this class, putting it together. I think that's the only thing Oklahoma fans are really going to be watching with this class and saying, what does the staff do? Is do they pull an offer from those two?
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering the same thing. I don't think that I'm not concerned about those 2 recruits. I'm not concerned about Mills. I'm not concerned about Buchard. I believe that they are team visits. I don't sense that. But I put it this way: they'll decommit if it was right. We'd see the decommitment already come down the line if it's going to be an official visit, because unless there's a conversation or an agreement made, then yeah, that's going to be an obsolete situation. Which for me, I'm not concerned. I think it'll be fine. No need to even be negative here, because the beauty is that we just got the 5-star offensive tackle that majority of the fan base was saying that Bill Bedenbaugh could not get. So PG, I want you to give us your timeline. Said you've been going through it for 8 months. What got you confident about Fasusi, and when did you feel like it was a done deal?
Yeah, so I mean, I had many conversations with Fasusi, and I think we did. I think it was only 2 interviews on the channel. But in conversations with talking to Fasusi, one thing stuck out to me every single time we talked to him. It was talking about the development of Bill Bedenbaugh, which is funny because I was listening to Sooner Scoop the other day, and Josh was talking about it and saying, "Well, I wonder when it changed for Bill Bedenbaugh. When did?" Putting 2 offensive linemen in the first round change in the recruitment for Bill Bedenbaugh? Well, he was talking about it all the way back in November. Bill Bedenbaugh putting these guys into the league, seeing these offensive linemen like Creed Humphrey and Orlando Brown getting these paydays, that factored in and played a huge role for Fasusi. He even said it multiple times. The NIL that he can make today won't be as great as the money he can make in the NFL, which it was great to hear a recruit actually say that. But a lot of people, I think, had skepticism of, do you believe it, right? When he actually commits, because Oklahoma was not the biggest offer here for Fasusi in terms of money-wise. Now, they'll take care of him. They were not the biggest offer. I think for me what changed was when I heard Fasusi talk about Texas, because at the time, I think it was in March, we had Fasusi back on the podcast. We talked about the Texas predictions. And he said something along the lines of, it's funny how everybody thinks I'm going to Texas because I've taken 2 visits there, and I haven't been to Oklahoma in a while because I'm taking all these visits everywhere else just to make sure I've done my due diligence, right? And
Yeah.
when he said that, it kind of was like, okay, I feel a little bit more confident in my prediction. But then every time we talked about Texas, he kept bringing up Sark, never Kyle Flood. Kyle Flood is the offensive line coach at Texas. Generally, when I talk to a recruit, they usually talk about their position coach more than they talk about the head coach. And so when he talked about Sark and not Kyle Flood, that kind of led me to believe he probably has a better relationship with Oklahoma, and this is probably where he wants to end up landing.
Yeah. And that's what I'm sensing, too. The exact same thing is the relationship was a lot bigger than people wanted to take into account. And exactly as you pointed out, that was something I've heard as well, even outside of you, was his praise for Bedenbaugh was a lot different than his praise for any other school that he talked about, right? And you can even read in the articles. The articles even show it. I mean, there's a paper trail. Those articles, a lot of it was conversations around what? Sark and, Elko. A lot of people that weren't the offensive line coach. He glows when he talked about Bill Bedenbaugh. And I thought that was very fascinating, too, which we all know that. I mean, some people joke about, saying Bedenbaugh's kind of an awkward dude. I mean, I can see, you see his pictures, he never smiles, which is even funnier to me, dog. When I see that, it's cracking up. But the love that these players have for him, like these players adore him. Like once they get in and they work on it, like, yeah, it's my dude, right? We even saw that with the transfers and the way that they instantly clicked. It's a fascinating phenomenon at the way that Bedenbaugh does it. So we got to celebrate his birthday, man, with another bang, man. Coop, when you saw this going down, PG, of course, feeding us information and stuff, how'd you feel? When did it feel real to you?
I think that, and I agree with PG. Like this has been like when you go for like 2+ years of conversation, it's you got the feeling from the last visit to Oklahoma. I said it in our group text. I said it on our Discord that he had every single box checked. Every single thing was set up for him, and now everything else after that was going to have to be reactive by these other universities. So he goes down to Texas. I heard lots of whispers and rumors and stuff about him going down to Texas and just, not feeling it that last visit. But you started seeing, him go silent probably 5 weeks ago, right, PG? Like, I mean, he pretty much shut it down, and I didn't want to mess with him, didn't want to bother with him. He knew people would be going after some of his close friends, with Sean Hutton, and maybe trying to see what he was told, and so I mean, he kept it secret from Sean, and so I mean, even just I have the respect for not stealing somebody's day and not stealing something like that, because again, this is his biggest announcement that he's ever had. And so, I'll say this. It's when you're a 5-star guy like that with the immediate playing time, the talent that he possesses, this is a guy who's going to come in, like I said earlier, and compete for playing time immediately. There's nobody, no coaching staff is going to tell him, hey, listen, you're going to have to, you're not going to get your shot right when you show up. And let's rewind a couple of years ago just for this team in general. You heard from Bill Bedenbaugh, and he instilled the culture from day one that, hey, listen, we're clearing out a lot of stuff. We're clearing out the closet, and we want to bring hard work back into this program. And you heard a lot of the stuff about the team wanted to be coached hard. That first season, that first summer with Schmitty, everybody was absolutely in love to be coached hard, to be driven, and to get better. And so this is a guy who he knows what he can get through Bill Bedenbaugh, and no matter what any other fan base wants to have a conversation about, I mean, OU has more offensive money being earned, more money being earned by offensive linemen in the NFL than certain universities down south have altogether. So like that's just a pure track record. When you see the PFF grades come out, week after week, and it is Oklahoma offensive lineman, that's not something that's easy to not think about. And so I have a really, really good feeling that with guys like Lamont Rogers and Babalola, now the staff can literally go out as an entire coaching staff when it comes to the class of 25. And all they have to do is just maintain those relationships that they already have. But if they want to focus on a key couple guys and, they get some of those conversations started up again, then it's going to be, a full-on onslaught for this staff to have, talks with, guys about potentially flipping. But I also say this is like this team has been built over the past 3 years with top 10 recruiting classes. So the talent here is undeniable. The offensive line, like I said a couple days ago, with the 24 guys, those guys are, there's a lot of studs in that class. They didn't get the national attention. And so you have a young crew going this year who's going to gain, great playing time. You add the 5 guys that we are getting this cycle in, if not more, and you continue to push. Continue to push. So right now, I still say that Bill Bedenbaugh is probably going to be in the top 5 at least at this point for recruiter of the year. And there's a lot of smiles to be had by this staff right now.
Now, if he lands Lamont Rogers or an Andrew Babalola, does he win recruiter of the year?
I don't know why not. Like, why would they not consider that with him? Being able to get two.
Alabama's offensive line coach has done a hell of a job.
Well, no, and that's fair. That's fair. Alabama has been killing it on the offensive line, also with Ty Haywood, as well as the interior lineman. Was it Jackson Lloyd? Yeah, is that his name? Yeah, Jackson Lloyd. So they've got a couple of guys on their line that they're ranked pretty highly as well. For Oklahoma, getting Babalola gets you 2 5-stars. They don't have 2 5-star offensive linemen in there as far as tackles, right?
Correct.
Something that's considered the premium positions. If Bedenbaugh can get that, and we can even talk about the rest of the class. Ryan Fogier. You're adding Fogier with that, who has propelled from being in the he was a 3-star when I did my video on it. Like I talked about it in the video that I released for the commitment. I talked about him, a few times in some of the videos, but when Fogier first showed up and I made my video for him in February, he was a 3-star. All boards. He was a 3-star guy. And I remember some of the comments, I need to go back and look at some of those comments again because it's been a bit, but people were just like, 3-star you. Why are y'all getting excited about a 3-star player? Blah, 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 blah. I was getting that over and over. And then as the evaluation started coming in, what did we see? We can go ahead and get Fogier up here real quick, and y'all can actually see for yourself, and y'all can just tell me if I'm crazy or not. Give me a moment as y'all look at these numbers real quick. There it is. Let me add you. Whoop. Let me just show y'all what he turned into. Fogier moved from those 3-stars to, Rivals has him ranked in the top 30 in his position, but 247 and On 3 has him top 10 in his position, and overall consensus top 100, top 10 player, top 10 tackle in the country, right? That to me changed everything. I'm like, oh, the evaluation was different. The staff saw something that nobody else saw in him, and his athleticism. I think he's about 6'6", 300 now as well, just like Fasusi. So you got 2 bookends at the 6'6" range that's going to be coming in young, ready to be developed for a couple years. Bruh.
Yeah. I'll call it, Jay. Fogier is going to be a 5-star, and he's already been getting the Tyler Guyton comps. And Tyler Guyton was tight end when he went to TCU. So,
right.
When he comes over here, there's now it's going to be, you're going to start seeing that SEC bias bump in some of these ratings, but then also with these offensive linemen. Because I personally think that the Fogier has the higher ceiling than Fasusi, but I think Fasusi's got the lower floor. So I think Fasusi is going to be a guy who we all expect him to be an absolute, all conference, offensive tackle, probably hitting all American levels. That's the expectation for him. But I think that Fogier, with that athleticism, I mean, that guy moves around so fluidly. And so, I mean, I think that he is going to see the bump. And Darius Afalava, I mean, this is a guy who, if he attended a lot more camps, he would be rated even higher than he is because, I mean, that guy just continues to go out and just maul people. And he doesn't mind doing it quietly. He wants to go out and just hurt folks. And so, when I see him, I think of guys like Cody Ford, who are just, absolute, just a little bit of the crazy chip, in the brain. And he will go out and he'll block you into the sideline, into the stands, past the end zone, and so this staff is got it. And then you throw in Hollenbeck, who centers. It's very, very, very rarely that centers get the ratings as high as the offensive tackles do. But Hollenbeck is a guy who, I mean, he reminds absolutely everybody of Creed Humphrey, a big power lifter, wrestler. And then don't forget about Sean Hutton, because Sean Hutton's going to be a guy who comes in, as a teammate of Fasusi, and he's going to continue to show out. And, that's a guy who would be playing, in a different era. He might be playing out of North Texas, or he might be playing, somewhere else. But he wanted to come in here and to ball out and to play, with his best friend. And so, I mean, that's 5 guys on the offensive line that you add to the powerful 24 class, and some of the 23 guys too.
Yep. PG, whenever seeing the rest of these class members, man, like Foger, how you feeling about just how this class has turned out?
Yeah, I mean, this is easily, well, I'm not going to say easily, but it's definitely one of Bill Bedenbaugh's top classes. I know he's had some pretty good ones. I think 2019 on paper looked pretty good, but I don't know if it panned out very well.
Right.
I'm just waiting to see if OJ gets his 5th star. I'm waiting to see if he gets the respect he deserves. 'Cause I think, doesn't On 3 have him the lowest, or is it?
On 3 has him the highest. On 3 has him at 46. So if he goes 5-star, On 3 is most likely the one that get him. Rivals needs to move him into the top 2. I think they do the Rivals 250. There's 250 or 300.
I think
ESPN's 300.
I think it's 250.
I think there's just 250, and then 247 is 247, and then On 3 is 300 as well. So Rivals need to move him into their top 300, which I expect that to happen by the end of the cycle, especially after the season. And we've seen that. We've seen that a lot, especially with players from either from Bedenbaugh as well as Todd Bates. They've found a lot of guys that after the fact of getting them, and people start really paying attention to them on the tape, they move up.
Yeah, I would expect Owen Hollenbeck will move up to 4-star territory through this season, especially playing at Melissa, Texas. He's going to get a lot of exposure down there. Darius Afalava, though, I'm curious to see how high he can go up in the rankings. Do you guys
I'm curious about
Afalava. Think he can get the 4-star territory?
I think he can. I think he has the ability to get into the top, basically the top 300 of everybody. By the end, like right now, Rivals has him the highest at 240. They're very high on his ability. And as his size, I mean, he's 6'5", 330. And he can move.
He's a big dude.
Well,
yeah, and he's a guy that I think he's going to play guard for Oklahoma, and I think he's going to be really good at it.
Agreed.
Do you think he takes Fabichi Wewu's spot when Wewu leaves at right time? Right guard?
I'd say with the players that we have now, with the Eugene Brooks as well as an EPL, that's probably where he's going to end up right behind. I can see him in the 2 deep with them. And it depends on if like Arian Hatchett leaves, and because of course we're going to add somebody else in the portal. The question is, who's going to be back next season? We don't expect Wewu back, right? I think he'll be good enough to go in the draft. But hey, we've seen this staff convince dudes to come back another year, even when they have a chance of getting drafted within day 2. If they convince dudes to come back one more time for a championship run, barring injury, we could see it. Major development. Get it.
I do want to see how many people portal this year, because you're going to have some portal entries with how deep this room has gotten. My question is, how many do you lose and who portals?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a very fair question.
I have really been dwelling on that and thinking about that over the past couple of days.
Well, I don't think you should do that today.
I
don't think you should do that today because we're enjoying the fact that we got Michael Fasusi to commit. That's another conversation for later in the season when we really need to start caring about numbers. Right now, we care the fact that we got Michael Fasusi to pull up, decide to say, for those that are just now coming in, Fasusi's a Sooner. This is the graphic that went up. Now we're overly excited. And I believe, like, with the way that this is going, if we can get a Babalola, you add him with Fogier as well as Fasusi, you add Sean in there with Hollenbeck as well as Afalava, that's a solid haul on the line. And that's a line that can grow together and get some run multiple positions over the next, few years, right? That's probably your 26 starting line guaranteed. And to be honest, what we have seen with the way that Bedenbaugh does stuff, if you go out and ball out for 1 year, you're going pro. We saw that with Guyton. Guyton got a little bit of run his first year here. He didn't get a whole bunch of snaps. That next season propelled him to first round pick. So that doesn't mean there's no guarantee, there's no reason to believe that you have to be here the entire time. Like, right, you don't have to be here for 4 years and play all 4 years to get drafted from Oklahoma. Bill Bedenbaugh's built rapport enough to where people say, okay, we see you 1 year, we probably know what you're going to be underneath his tutelage. And as Schmitty, with the way that he works them out, great way to get excited.
And Fasusi already has that work ethic. I mean, you saw all the stuff that, some of his last posts on social media were just him working. And that's what I'm really, really getting excited for him on is, he knows that he's what he has out in front of him, and it's not something that's going to be handed to him. He knows that there's going to be work to be done, and he's going to be willing to come in and do that work. So, really, really excited to see that. And, shout out to JD Hutton, James Hutton, Sean's Pops is in here, and, he's been chatting with me back and forth the past couple of days, and we're excited for both of the kids, and PG's trying to rally us to do a little visit down for the season. So we're all staying at your place, JD. Just let us know what time we need to be in.
What time is dinner?
Yes, save me the money on a hotel. Save me the money on a hotel.
Yes. PG will sleep in the backyard. It's going to be fall.
Yes.
But this is funny. Mr. Hutton pointed out that Louisville's going to move Sean to the left guard and have him and Fasusi playing next to each other. And I talked about this in my commitment video. If you want to check it out a little bit later, you can. It's in there. I've already posted it. But you put those two together, who's worked together for years and as friends, understanding how to move together, how to communicate with each other perfectly.
Yeah,
that's going to be a game changer on that offensive line, because the biggest thing with offensive line is chemistry, right? You need guys to be able to communicate with each other. That's what makes it such a tough position to play. Is that each dude has to do their job, and they got to know who their job is, and they got to focus. If there's a miss, that's when your quarterback gets leveled. Having those two together on the left side working, that's huge. And it's a great insight. So we appreciate them, Mr. Hutton, that you shared that with us.
Well, that's honestly Sean's best path to playing time at Oklahoma is at the guard position. And if he can go out there and show some stuff this season, I mean, here's the deal, I'm trying to get them down there for the Denton-Geyer game. So we're really going to get to see what that left side of the ball is made up against when they're having to go up against Zane Rowe, Tyron Haywood, Xavier Ukponu, which, by the way, Xavier Ukponu, friends with Fasusi and Hutton. So
hey, nothing wrong with that.
The Denton-Geyer, Louisville, there might be a little bit of a rivalry there this year between on opposite sides of the ball. But we're gonna get to see just how good those two can be. And I would imagine Todd Bates and Bill Bedenbaugh will probably be at that game as well, evaluating it, because those are all guys that they're going after. Those are all guys they're pursuing, and it's just a good time to evaluate what that's going to be like.
Yep. It's a good thing to see us being great being the soon. Onikuno, what's up, John? Appreciate you pulling up, letting us know that he's not Texas good. We totally get it. And shout out to the Texas fans in here that understand how recruiting works and is willing to actually be rational with it. We got some irrational people in here talking about we were paying $20 million for a guy, whatever.
To the Texas fans, y'all know how we feel now when y'all took DJ Campbell from us in 2022.
That's a good point.
Because there was legitimate talk about him landing to Oklahoma. And that was right when the staff turned over on signing day, and Texas stole him right from underneath us because they were the first to really jump on the NIL stuff for offensive linemen.
I mean, listen, the he's not Texas good I mean, even Anwar Richardson said it in his video, is either yesterday or this morning. He's walking in. I don't care what you guys have, like, unless you got a potential first round guy that's already shown it a few times. Like, it's just nonsense. Don't let your unintelligence show. I mean, just enjoy the day. You guys recruit well. You keep it going every single year, and you just lost out on one, man. I did the same thing.
Yeah.
I did the same thing. When you guys have pulled folks, I don't trash your guys, and because it's a job that the guy wants to go, he wants to play, and he was going to play at any of those Final Fives across the board. There was for
he's pushing
anybody.
He's pushing anybody on any one of those schools, right? All 5 of those schools, he's pushing whoever's in front of them for their spot. And that's what you want. You want to stack talent, right? You want guys that have an opportunity to play. I think that the ones we have are going to be working their butts off as well to be able to play. And it's all about who can catch the system fastest and really get going. Could be Fasusi now, could be Fasusi later. But I know, and I appreciate Matt saying this. Any Texas fan that says this isn't a big loss is lying. And he's a Texas fan. That's correct. We say the same thing. If there's certain players that we lose out on, when there's opportunity for you to get them, and you're like, hey, man, that's a big loss. It would have been nice to have them. There's nothing wrong with that, There's nothing wrong with taking an L in recruiting, because recruiting is so darn fickle anyway. It is what it is. So,
Yeah.
All right, I know, Coop, you got stuff to do. Final thoughts?
Man, I just, again, like I said, this is an all-around everything. A lot of the stuff of, Oklahoma being in the Big 12, that's gone. If, you have the NIL with Oklahoma, that's gone. You have, anybody who's saying Bill Bedenbaugh is a guy who's going to guarantee anybody anything. That you apparently have no clue what you're talking about, because this is one of the biggest hard asses in college football as a coach, and he is not going to just let anybody play. I mean, you've had absolute studs like Savion Byrd come in and absolutely not be able to show up and to play because they just would not put in the work. And so, I mean, you got to come in here and you got to earn that spot, because he's going to play the best 5. It doesn't matter if Fasusi was the best left guard or left tackle. That's how Bill Bedenbaugh rolls. So, but again, it's happy birthday to Coach B. A great day for the Fasusi family and Louisville, Texas. You heard that eruption. I mean, they were all super stoked about that. So again, appreciate you all for pulling up. This has been a very, very fun process. And now, Jay, guess what? It's almost time for 26. It's a real year.
No, not a real year. If it ain't a quarterback, it ain't a real year. 26 ain't real to me. I mean, I know I need to start making some stuff on that, but just understand that it's not real. It ain't real. It is real to me. But hey, thank y'all for pulling up. Hit the like button if you're new to the channel. Subscribe. So please wipe your feet before you leave up out my crib. We appreciate that, PG. Final thoughts?
Final thoughts. I'm just glad that we can crap all over the Texas insiders that have caused us heartache for so many months.
Well, I'm just excited for the Sooners. I'm over it. So that's good. We got we are now 9 days from game day, and it's go time. I mean, and we get it. Jay, I know that we're going to be down on campus midday, so I'm pretty excited about every single bit of this.
Yeah, I'm excited about getting around the atmosphere of football again. So, yep, we'll be down there next week. Of course, we'll go live on Sunday. No live tonight. This is going to be in place. Coop has a life, and I didn't sleep last night, so I'm going to give me a nap in and do some other stuff. I got some cleaning to do anyway.
You don't have a baby?
Man, I know, right? I'm just old. That's all it is, bruh. I worked out too late, and so I was just wired all night long. Just, plus, I knew this was happening. This is like Christmas, right? You don't sleep before Christmas because you know a big gift is coming. Yeah, this is one of those big gifts that I was excited about. So before you exit out, hit the like button. New to the channel, subscribe. And if you listen to the pod, rate, review, give us 5 stars. We'll be back on Sunday. More videos, of course, to drop over the couple of days because there's been some really good content populating. So, yeah, besides that, we'll chop it up all of you another day or two. Peace.